Hello guys, and welcome to a new Total War Warhammer 2 playthrough today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a new campaign on the Mortal Empires DLC. Since the Mortal Empires came out, I thought I wanted to do a new series on it, and I am going to be doing a world conquest, which means I'm going to be taking every single settlement on the entire map. We are going to get rid of all of the corruption in the lands. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to make use of Durthu and the Wood Elves. So Argwylon is his race, so let's scroll across through all of these lords towards Durthu, and this will be the first of many Mortal Empires campaigns. I do plan to do more, maybe not as long as this one will be, because this is a world conquest. However, I think it will be a lot of fun in future to have a go with some of the other nations and go and invade the new world with like some of the old nations. So yeah, I think that's going to be really cool. Like we could take Vlad, for example, Vlad von Carstein, and just go like rebuild the Vlad Empire across the entire world, which would be just totally awesome. So yeah, we're going to be starting with Durthu in this one and Argwylon. It's a hard start initially, and we are going to be playing on very hard difficulties, so quite the combination to start off with. In terms of Wood Elf attributes, we have Gathering of the Ancients is a council where the ancient treemen meet to decide forest matters. If we were playing with Orion, then that would say Wood Elf. But we are going to be playing primarily with treemen throughout the campaign, which is awesome. Amber, a powerful resource that improves the Oak of Ages and forces of Argwylon. And we have World Roots. Forest armies can use a network of ancient tree roots to avoid impassable terrain and enemy forces. And then we have Forest Spirit focused unit roster with a variety of monstrous creatures and hard-hitting melee units. So it's going to be really, really cool. Plenty of trees just hanging about, making the world green again, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. In terms of the faction effects, for Argwylon we have hero recruitment cost minus 50% for branch wraiths, so we're going to be using a lot of those. We have plus 10 melee attack during forest battles, which might not be that useful. We have elite elven unit cost amber to recruit. So elite elven units, if we were playing again with Orion, it would say elite treeman units, but this just means that we're going to be using a lot less archers than we were before. And we're going to be using a lot more like wild riders and these treekin and of course the dryads. And that's what the additional starting units are for Durthu. So without further ado, I'm sure you've had enough of seeing Durthu stamp on the heads of the Empire. Let's go ahead and start the campaign.
Hail to you, Durthu, eldest of the ancients. I come to offer assistance in these dark times, to help you exact revenge on the enemies of Argwylon. To the north, the Bretonnians lie in wait. We must tread carefully, for their expansionist desires are well known, yet they could be firm allies against other foes. Furthermore, greenskin incursions are increasing, defiling the sanctity of the forests with their filth. The only answer is war. Move against their mountain hovels and end their sorry sorties into your lands. To the west, the beastmen herds are massing. These cloven beasts will desecrate everything, including your sacred woodlands, unless stopped by force of arms. You must turn the tables, take the hunt to them. The taint of chaos must not despoil the king's glade. Though the men of the lowlands know the price of intrusion, they still trespass upon your hallowed groves. No more. Drive them from the forest's edge. Age has made you twisted and furious, father of the forest, but this rage makes you mighty. Go now. Smite the unworthy. Defend Argwylon.
There we go, guys. Our epic introduction to the Mortal Empires playthrough with Durthu. And here we are. Here is the Oak of Ages. We are the father of the forest. And for those of you who aren't familiar with how the Wood Elves play, let's read how they play. Amber. The Wood Elves gain amber from quests and from each settlement they or their allies hold. Amber may be spent on certain buildings, technologies, units, or on rejuvenating the Oak of Ages at the heart of Argwylon. Then we have Oak of Ages. At the heart of Argwylon stands the Oak of Ages, which the Wood Elves must fully rejuvenate in order to achieve victory. We have Gathering of the Ancients. A variety of benefits may be gained by appointing treeman lords to the Gathering of the Ancients. And there you go. So plenty of treemen going to be everywhere, and we have our first chapter objective issued, which is to upgrade the Oak of Ages. So we have 5 levels. Once we get to the top one and complete the quest, that will be victory basically. But what we're going to do is, when we get to that victory, is continue with the world conquest of the New World and Old. So it should be really, really awesome. It might take a very long while, but I'm going to get straight to it. Also, hopefully you guys don't mind the face cam. I'm going to keep it on, and this basically is so that in the future I can stream this playthrough. But for now, just recording it as is, but let's carry on. So let's start off by having a look at the Waterfall Palace. There isn't really too much I don't think we want to build at the start. The only thing that I can think of is this building, the Grapevines. It gives us income generated 800, which is definitely a strong boost to our upkeep. The only other thing that I think we might want is probably the guard platform upgraded, so that when our public order hits 0, we are okay. But for now, what we're going to do is move Durthu towards Karak Norn. And we are going to recruit some more units into his army. So definitely want some more archers. So we're going to go for a couple Blade Guard and the Dryads there. And then next turn we'll probably get some more. Now the other thing we probably want to do is have a look at our diplomacy, because eventually we want to confederate the other Wood Elf realms. So Torgavon and Widrioth probably won't give us a non-aggression pact.
Short-sighted.
Nope.
Highborn.
However, the Wood Elves might.
Imprudent.
So let's have a look at the Wood Elves here. Yeah, that's very, very high chance. So let's try and get some cash for that.
Agreed.
Fantastic. So we got like 500 for that, which I think is more than fair. Everybody else pretty much hates us, and that's why it's so damn hard at the start. Alright, so our hero is moved there. We have a hero that's not moved, which is Katra, our branch wraith. Now I'm actually going to put Katra straight into Durthu's army, I think. So let's do that. He will help replenish troops, and further to that, I believe he has a completely different type of magic. So we have the wild magic from Durthu, and then we have Katra, who has the dark magic and life magic, I think. Yeah, he's got the earth blood there that replenishes hit points of combatants, which is pretty damn cool. So we're going to work with that, and we're just going to recruit what we can this turn. We have research available as well, and we have Morai Heg the Crone. I think what I'm going to do is go up towards this public order, because that will help negate our difficulty, because at the moment we're on very hard difficulty. So if I click on Waterfall Palace and show you the public order, we get -4 difficulty, or -4 public order per turn from difficulty, and that's actually pretty hard to negate as the Wood Elves in their major settlements. However, in the minor settlements, you get the initial buildings give you public order bonuses, so that's really cool. Either way, we're going to end the turn there, because that's pretty much all we can do. Now, something to mention in the end turn is that it might take a while, because the end turn, there is so many nations that it just takes forever. So I'm just going to speed up the animation for most of the factions. We'll do allied factions fastest, enemy factions fast, so we can still sort of see what's going on. And then we'll do animation speed for neutral factions fastest, and for ourselves we'll go fast. Okay. That'll do. So that's camera settings set up. As we continue throughout the campaign, more of these nations will disappear, so the end turns will get quicker, which will be good. So that will be much nicer, but as you can see, it's still going through like the initial Dwarven races, the Empire races. There is just so many races across the entire map that it has to calculate everything for. So, I mean, it's to be expected, right? So yeah, let's just wait for the end turn. I guess the other thing we could discuss is the fact that the Wood Elves don't actually have to deal with the like land compatibility, I guess is one way to put it. Whereas like normally as the Dwarves or as Bretonnia or as the Empire, with the Mortal Empires DLC, they've incorporated a lot of the mechanics from Warhammer 2 into the campaign. And one of them is like the compatibility of the land. So if you, like, for example, as Bretonnia here, you go and colonize maybe Karak but it's not like suitable climate, so you end up having to pay more for those buildings. But as the Wood Elves, because you only upgrade your initial 4 settlements, which is Val's Anvil, Waterfall Palace, Crag Halls of Findle, and Kingsglade, every other settlement on the map just becomes like an outpost. And so you don't really have to deal with public order or the climate problems, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, we have Durthu here, and he's recruited a couple troops. I believe we could probably recruit a couple more Blade Guard. Yeah, we're going to do that. We are going to be going down to minus 453 this turn. However, with the introduction of the Grapevines completing, we'll get an extra 800 boost, so we should be able to maintain all of those troops. And we will go in and jump over to Karak Norn next turn. But for now, that's everything we can do, so just going to move on. And there will be quite a lot of turn skipping. I did play out, I think, the first 4 or 5 turns as Argwylon previously, just to see how it would go. Because obviously I don't want to screw up the start of the campaign for you guys, and that would have just been a bit silly. Like, just one episode of me, like, failing. So, yeah, I did a quick run through. All went smoothly, so I just thought I would jump in and continue with the recording. So here we are, waiting for another end turn. And Durthu has completed his army, so we're going to wild routes over to Karak Norn, and we will attack that in the next turn. But again, everything done. We don't have any cash. We're minus 11 per turn. Nothing we can do. Let's just move on again. So not the most inspiring gameplay to start, but I assure you the siege on Karak Norn will be a good one. I guess this gives us time to talk about loads of other stuff as well, like what exactly we're going to do and why I'm playing the Wood Elves. So of course World Conquest means that I am going to be taking every single settlement on the entire map. And the reason I decided to play the Wood Elves is because I thought that it would be, I don't know, I just had this thought in my mind that it would be really cool to have like the Wood Elves extinguish all forms of corruption in the entire world, like Skaven corruption, Chaos corruption basically, and Vampiric corruption. Just get rid of it all and just make the whole world green again. And I thought that would be like a really cool thing to do. So there we go. We have the Turning of Leaves pop up, which is going to give us minus 25% campaign map movement range, which is kind of sucky, but we get extra casualty replenishment rate, which is good, which means we can definitely sacrifice more men on the attack at Karak Norn. So let's go ahead and move into normal stance. We are going to start sieging Karak Norn, and it's not looking good in terms of the balance bar, but what we're going to do is wait 4 turns for some siege towers, and then we will go ahead and attack that. So all the while, the public order is absolutely annihilating Waterfall Palace. So as soon as we get some cash, I will start upgrading the guard platform here. Let's go ahead and end the turn. So Argwylon's always really hard to start. It's just always a situation where you have to be like hyper aggressive from the get-go, or you just can't win the campaign. Like if, for example, I allowed Karak Norn to build up that army in Karak Norn, I would have to rely on maybe the Crooked Moon coming and taking it, and weakening themselves in the process, and then I would have to, you know, attack them instead and all this kind of stuff. And it just gets like really hard to deal with, because as soon as you declare war on the Crooked Moon, for example, they're going to have like two full stacks come down on your ass, and it's going to be really hard to deal with. But for now, we're just continuing that siege at Karak Norn. Obviously, we were just waiting for the siege towers to finish.
A rival power desires a change
And
in your mutual relations.
the Crooked Moon would like a non-aggression pact. I think we're just going to avoid that for now, because we're likely going to want to destroy them early on. Maybe. We'll see. It depends how it goes. Because my plan is to destroy Karak Norn and then destroy the Crooked Moon. That gets rid of like 2 factions straight off the bat that are threatening. And then we can decide where we want to go on there based on what happens. So we'll take control of like the first 10-20 turns, and then we sort of go with the flow. That's kind of what I had planned. We have the Great Council. This is going to give us 1,500 treasury. Nice. The lords and ladies of Argwylon gather every so often to discuss and determine the future of Asrai. Their word, once the debate is concluded, is proclaimed throughout the forest and enacted immediately. At this moment, they have decided that more funds are required if Argwylon is to prosper. So I think I'm probably going to spend this cash on the first upgrade of the guard platform, just to give us some more garrison in the Waterfall Palace for when the rebellion finally pops. But for now, we have one of our siege towers built. I think we're going to wait for the second one, and then we will go ahead and make that attack happen. It's not looking good in terms of the balance bar, but I'm sure we can make it work. We have plenty of archers, we've got plenty of these dryads, so yeah, we should be okay. Let's go ahead and end the turn. Of course, Durthu can just go in and knock down the gates with his massive sword, and he can have the tree can help him out as well, which are those big old like tree fellas. In groups of like 12 or so. You can just have them all like hammer on the gates until they're broken down, and Durthu has like crazy AoE attacks, so he should do a decent amount of damage. We're just gonna wait for the end turn now, once again, and there's gonna be like one more turn skip, and then we will get on with attacking Karak Norn, and then we'll actually start being able to do stuff, because every other settlement down here is not going to be walled. Karak Norn is the main settlement, which is why it has walls from the start, even though it's a level 1 settlement. So as Katra, we probably want to start going down here and getting some more of these spells. We could go for the troop replenishment, but I think we're just going to go for Melkos, Mystify, Miasma upgrade, get that on a lower cooldown. And yeah, I believe it's one more turn. Yes, it is. And then we can go ahead and attack Karak Norn. So all the while, you can see that the Crooked Moon are building up these 2 huge armies at Karak Asgaraz. It's absolutely nuts. But if we take Karak Norn before they can, I think we can get to Grimhold before they can as well, and we should be okay. So that's kind of what I'm relying on at the moment. There's been war declared between Torgavan and Carcassonne, and Tilia and the Broken Nose clan. So it'd be interesting to see if Torgavan go and attack Carcassonne, because normally the other Wood Elf factions don't actually move anywhere, they just play really defensive. But either way, we have the siege of Karak Norn to do. So let's go ahead, quick save it, and we will fight this on the battle map. It's going to be awesome. And here we are. Okay. So, we don't want our archers in the towers. That's rather odd. Let's take them out. We'll put the dryads in the towers. and they can invade the walls. It's really, really awesome. Like, this entire army is just absolutely badass. Like, if you've got the Treekin here, followed up by Durthu and his massive ass. Then we have, obviously, Dryads. Let's just have a quick look at these fellas. Like baby Durthus. And yeah, just so much cool stuff going on. Of course, we have our Way Watchers, which are our badass bowmen who do an absolute ton of damage. Then we have our Glade Guard, which are our standard bowmen. Then we have Wild Riders. And then we of course have the Treekin, which I already showed you, and of course Karak over here, who's our little branch wraith. Look at him. Loving life. Okay, let's move on. Probably going to attack this from the left side. I'm going to leave it at 21 magic. That's quite good, actually. We're going to attack it from the left side, just so that I can break down the gates while I'm invading the walls as well. So we're going to have this one go there, this one go there, that one go like that, and this one like so. Okay. Then we're going to want to have all of our archers run forwards. Probably going to get the Way Watchers to hang on the end there. We'll have the Wild Riders run up and hide in that little hole there. And I'm basically going to have Karak, Durthu, and the Treekin charge down the mid towards the gate. So let's start the battle. We will break down that gate. I'm going to get our branch wraith to help out. I'm going to have the Wild Riders move over to the left side here. They might get hit by... Actually, I thought there was quarrels on the wall, but there isn't. So they'll be fine. But let's just move up these guys. Get all the orders going. And our archers don't actually have to move up too far to get into range. So I'm just going to move them up as much as I have to, basically. Ooh, Wild Riders there already being wrecked. Looks like they're being hit by the Quarrelers, but also that fort tower. Fortunately, gonna get away with that briefly, I guess. And we're still not in range with the archers, so let's continue up. We want to basically just have it so that the archers can support the walls slightly. There we go. Okay, so they're able to start firing now. Looks like Durthu and the Treekin will take the majority of the damage here. There go the archers. I really like how the Wood Elf archers sound, like when they just release volleys. It sounds really cool. I can imagine like bows sounding like that, with like the string. But there we go. Durthu and his Treekin have reached the gate, and we'll start to slam it down. Go on, Durthu, break that gate. Our Dryads are almost at the walls, and they will be able to deal with miners and quarrelers quite easily, I think. I think Dryads have pretty decent melee attack and melee defense. Yeah, they do at the start. Here they come. That would be pretty damn scary. I mean, if you aren't familiar with like the Wood Elves as a dwarf, seeing all of these like Dryads come out, like creepy wood abominations, you would be absolutely freaked out. But look at them go. Absolute madmen. And the gates are broken open. Let's charge on through. Oh, you see the AoE damage there that Durthu does. It's absolutely insane. Love it. Alright, let's get the crows going. And they can actually affect the ones up on the walls as well. And the great thing about this is it does really good damage to multiple combatants. So you'll see Durthu with his AoE there, alongside that spell, can do a lot of damage. I'm actually going to buff up these Treekin with the Wissen's Wild Form, and we'll have them all charge on through. Looks like these Dryads here have kind of done their job, so let's get them off the wall and helping in the mid-melee there. Of course, the archers are doing a lot of damage. They are taking a lot of damage from the towers as well, but that's okay. They're helping us get rid of a lot of these quarrelers on the walls, which is fantastic. Also, the damage coming in, the friendly fire from the grudge thrower back there. Pretty crazy. Let's go for another Pro Storm, and we will get Katra to introduce his Melkos Mystifying Miasma. See, that'll do a lot of damage to multiple combatants at the gate here, which will allow Durthu to do even more damage. Fantastic. These Wild Riders are taking a little bit of a beating now, so I'm actually going to move them around to the main gate. We really need to like capture this other gate on this side, or this other tower, stop it firing at our archers. Fortunately, I think my Way Watchers are relatively unscathed. Not sure if they're firing though. I think they are just about. Might be worth having our archers sort of start to make a run for the walls, so that we can have them on the walls once we take them over. Right, we're going to do another Pro Storm. And I think we're going to buff up the tree men again. So this tree Ken buffed up. Good stuff. We should be using this attack as well onto Brock if we can, because that's really good against single combatant. The only issue is if he gets interrupted, he can't use it, so it's kind of annoying. And he is constantly being hammered while that's going on. So, yeah, we're going to have to deal with Brock, I think. And we're going to have to continue with another Pro Storm. Cool. So on the walls, looks like some of our Dryads here are being absolutely wrecked. We might just have to get our Blade Guard and stuff to come up. I think on this side over here, these Dwarf Warriors are being hit really hard by the Way Watchers. Alright, let's just try and get this spell off if we can. Nice. Right. And get that spell going. We can do a Melkos Mystifying Miasma here as well. And that will definitely help us out. It's if they allow it to spread anyway, which they haven't done. Right, we're going to get these guys off the walls, because the Quarrelers on the walls are actually doing a lot of damage. Our Blade Guard are coming up and dealing with the Quarrelers now as well. Blade Guard actually have a decent melee attack and defense at the start of the game as well, so they should be able to help us out quite a lot. The other thing is getting our Wild Riders involved in this main melee. Right, let's just attack those Dwarf Warriors there. All of my other archers seem to have gone through the mid for some reason. I want them to get up onto the walls, so I'm going to have to bring them back out of the gates there. Meanwhile, however, Durthu can bring down another Pro Storm. So let's do that. Flock of Doom. Doesn't do damage for that long, honestly. We are starting to cause some of these units to rout at least. There we go. That should help out a little bit. Try and slam Brock Iron Pick to death with Durthu. Because Brock's getting very low, and if he dies, then we will be in a pretty good spot.
Archers ready! Yes? Bowman ready!
Is he dead yet? He's nearly dead. There we go. He got crushed by Durthu. Fantastic. Look at these triads like running away. They run so frantically, it's quite funny. Ideally, I want to be able to get my Wild Riders out of here. And then they can actually use their charge effectively. Maybe we just go and destroy those grudge throwers at the back there. Okay, cool. How are these Way Watchers doing up on the wall? I believe they're killing off quite a lot of these foreigners. The good thing about Way Watchers is, like, I think they're pretty competent in melee as well, but they will, like, fire on the move. So if they're, like, chasing down a unit in melee, then they will still fire their bows whilst they're running, which is really cool. Right, we do have one of our Glade Guard there getting pretty damn low. Should be okay. Just make sure that we have all of our units run through here. I'm crushing the grudge throwers with the Wild Riders, so that should help out. Been a pretty messy siege, but we were, of course, outnumbered pretty badly. One more flock we can use. And we did just have one of our units wiped out, which is not good. See if we can get this spell down. There we go. Okay, so that's going to start making more of them run away. Go on, Durthu, smash him to pieces. Let's get right up in this. Very, very cool. My little branch right here, along with all of my other units, are doing okay. Let's get these guys to go and help out with the Dwarf Warriors. We get these guys back as well. Okay, we're capturing the main square.
With haste.
One thing we could probably do is charge through these Dwarf Warriors.
Armed and ready.
Yes, there we go, nice.
Hurry! To war!
How's Durthu doing? He's still crushing dudes.
Wild Riders! Now!
Right, I'm gonna get these guys to charge the Quarrelers back here. We're almost causing a chain rout. It's been like really close every time.
Hunters!
It kind of sucks. Those Wild Riders didn't get the charge in properly. But victory is in our grasp apparently, so let's do it. Taking a lot of damage. Fortunately, we do have that extra 25% casualty replenishment rate on the campaign map, so that should help out. Alright, come on, just make them all rout now. This is just silly. There we go. Those guys got absolutely obliterated back there. That was insane. Alright, we're going to end the battle there for a Pyrrhic victory and a half. That was insane. But we made it happen. We lost a unit of Glade Guard, I think. The others should be okay. We should have them still alive. Maybe. We'll see. What a cracking battle to start off the campaign. Like, it was always going to be hard from the get-go, but Durthu really pulling his weight there with the 207 kills. We were quite severely outnumbered by about 500 men. Maybe just less, but still. There's a lot of dudes. And dwarves aren't easy to kill. Yeah, we lost one unit of Glade Guard, but we're going to take this settlement, and we are going to seed it. As I believe colonizing as the Wood Elves, as far as I remember, costs an absolute bomb. So we may as well just take it over. And as you can see, we get the Asray Lookout automatically on every settlement we take. And this gives us +6 public order, +2 untainted, and gives us, of course, the garrison from the Dryads and the Deepwood Scouts. So, yeah, pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and build up the Waystone here. We have 4 different buildings that we can build in every settlement. We get the Foraging Groves, which improves our overall income. We have the Sacrificial Grounds that improves the overall our armies overall. And then we have the World Route Pathway that reduces recruitment costs for the local armies. Now this is really good because you can build like 3 of them in the same province and reduce recruitment costs by 90%. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go for the Waystone, just because until provinces are secure, you don't want to change these buildings from anything other than Waystones. Mainly because not only do you want the casualty replenishment rate, but you also want to make sure that they won't be attacked in the future. And so I would need to control like all of this province over here, Vissenland, in order to safely make Karak Norn use any other building, basically. So that's what we're going with, and I do have enough cash to upgrade this to the Glade, so I am going to do so. It improves our garrison, I think, slightly, so may as well do it, especially considering our public order is currently falling quite dramatically. And, well, Durthu is going to have his army replenished quite well. I'm probably going to have to jump him back towards the Waterfall Palace to re-recruit some of those Glade Guard, although we might be able to just go and attack Grimhold, because it will have a much smaller army than we were dealing with before. So it might be worth just sort of running towards there as quickly as possible and just destroying that. Okay, so let's go ahead and end the turn there. Here come the Crooked Moon. Hopefully the Crooked Moon don't attack us, because our settlements don't have walls. That's another thing that we have to worry about throughout the entire campaign. None of our settlements ever have walls, which is something that I love to have, but as the Wood Elves, I guess it's not so bad if you lose a settlement, because it doesn't really make you lose too much of an investment that you maybe made into that settlement, because all you put into every settlement is like 100 cash. But either way, unfortunately guys, this is where I'm going to leave it. We will start with the next turn in the next episode. But for now, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.